Holy shit. It's the boys. The original boys.
On Prime.
On what?
What it is.
Bruh.
We haven't been here for a minute.
Baba Booey.
Alec got sound effects.
Got sound effects now.
And this is why I left.
No, Avery, what have you been doing on your hiatus? It's been how long?
Over
Too long.
about a year and a half.
Yep.
It's been a year and a half.
I've been living my life on the edge.
Well, you told us there's some side work, some side hustling you've been doing.
I can't speak of that yet. Once everything's finalized, I will speak of that.
Can you give any hints?
Avery became our manager.
Pretty much.
It's
been our talent acquisition partner.
Low key, I've been hustling. Been being their pimps.
Who did you email?
I've been emailing. I've been communicating with people.
How many people do you think by now?
A good 6 or 7 people.
And he just took this upon himself. Like, he disappeared and has not talked about the podcast up until recently when we asked him to do this. And then he decides to tell us what he's been doing behind our backs the whole time.
Yeah, this whole coronavirus really kind of gave me an opportunity and the time to take it upon myself to do all this.
Hey, but if you're not throwing out bait, you ain't gonna catch no fish. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'll go, yeah. You know,
That's why I took it upon myself, because you guys are lazy ass bitches.
That's true.
Bruh.
Chris, you can put your headphones on.
Nah.
Okay.
I can hear it all.
Baba Booey.
Unless you do some voice effects.
You didn't hear that, did you?
No, I didn't hear one.
No.
So we've been gone for a while, but
It's been
as promised,
3 months.
yeah, it's about
I mean,
3 months.
We can blame coronavirus, right? It's just been sucks.
So,
Okay.
as promised, though,
We're back with the highly anticipated Last of Us Part 2
yeah.
Spoilercast review.
Been highly anticipated.
Yeah.
So, I think, real quick,
Should
I've
we
got
get
my plot
into it?
beats. So,
Getting right into it?
no. Well, yeah, we're going to get right into it, but first, the first thing we'll do is first impression. What did you think of the game? Did you like it?
It's a good game.
Should we do first impressions or expectations?
Yeah, okay. What did you think this game was going to be? This is full spoilers, by the way.
From here on out, which it's been long enough.
You've had it long enough. Yeah. Alec took a
First
millennia.
expressions? Or
Expressions?
First impressions.
Bruh.
So, what did you think this game was going to be? Just real quick, what plot thing did you think was going to happen in this game?
You know what? Somehow through my 3-month experience of playing this game, I was not spoiled on a single thing. So I think, I didn't really have any expectations all the way through until, I started playing.
Yeah, the one thing that hit me when you just said that was your 3-month experience.
Yeah. So, Chris, it took 3 days. You, it probably took a week and a half.
Yeah.
And it took me 3 months. I finished it a couple weeks ago.
Let's dip into why that took so long.
Do you want to? I got scared a lot.
Yeah.
And it was a very stressful game. I was also playing with Caitlin, so I had to wait till we were both in a good spot to sit down and play big chunks of the game.
Who was supposed to be on this episode, but she is asleep.
She got tired.
That's okay.
Unfortunately.
That's all right. Maybe she can come in at the end.
So, what did you think was going to happen, though? Like, anything? Like, you had no expectation?
My expectations going in is I thought Joel was going to die going in. Like, I knew there was going to be some sort of serious death because it's a sequel.
And there needs to be
usually
tension.
Deaths are a big driving point for a continuation of a story. I didn't know how or when he was going to die. But yeah, I had a feeling that Joel was going to die because obviously Ellie was a big proponent of the game.
The marketing and everything. Like,
Yeah,
she's all
and that
over it.
was interesting. Some of the marketing stuff we can touch on later, but Yeah, the marketing made it seem like it was just going to be Ellie, which it was. For
Avery, did you have any of this game spoiled for you?
No.
No.
Mainly because I didn't hang around you.
Yeah, you know what's fucked up, Chris? Is that you did spoil the game.
Oh yeah, inadvertently. Okay.
He got mad about something.
What did I
and
say?
You said Joel dies.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I was just fucking around. I just assumed like that would be something that could happen, and I got pissed off. But I didn't know it was.
But this is the guy who looks up the spoilers right when the game or movie comes out. And if you piss him off in any way, shape, or form, he will spoil it for you.
Not any way, shape, or form. I don't think I've ever, as a punishment, spoiled it because that was just
Yes,
a joke.
you have.
What?
You spoiled.
Give me one example. Just one. That's all I need. My quota's filled with one example. Yeah.
Where did you spoil Star Wars?
Yeah, you did.
As a
spoil
punishment?
Yes, you
Spoil
did.
Star Wars.
Yes, you did. Yep.
You showed me. You asshole.
You asked. I was.
No, I didn't.
Yes,
you
you
pushed
did.
it on me.
Okay, that
I said, "Do you want to see it?"
that wasn't
you'll like
necessarily
it.
a spoiler. That
No, he full on showed me screen caps.
Yeah, Avery didn't see that part.
Yeah, you weren't there for that, but he fucking showed me. We've got it on
was
recording
the-
how pissed off I was that you spoiled that.
Bruh.
You were like, "Fuck, I guess I'll see it," and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, but how hard did you have to push that?
Not very hard.
Yes,
I just
you did.
No, because I said you would like it, and you were like, "Well, I guess." I'm like, "Okay, here you go."
Still, you knew I didn't want any spoilers.
I don't know. I can't.
You and your fucking witchcraft.
No, but this was like back in, like last year sometime. I said that. So like that whole leak thing.
Just know if a movie's coming out or it has come out and it's brand new and I want to see it, or a game for that matter, like, and I'm avoiding you and you know I'm avoiding you, no, it's because of that.
You know, I did
Yeah.
stay away from that leak that came out though, that huge one. But I did, after I beat it, look and see like what exactly was leaked. And yeah, it was pretty heavy. It was the Joel scene and the Abby fucking scene was the other thing.
You
that got leaked.
spoiled that Star Wars game for me.
Oh, Fallen Order.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
I didn't know anything about that though. Like before playing it, I think you played
You
it before I
spoiled
did.
the double-edged lightsaber for me.
Oh well, that was in like trailers. I thought you would have just seen
No,
it.
it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
There's literally like one of the first trailers. He's holding it up and it shoots out both ends. So I
No.
assumed you'd know it's in
That
there.
is not what happens.
But and you get that like an hour in the game.
All right, back on topic.
It's a choice.
Yeah,
Back on topic.
Shut your
All
fat
right.
lips. So
Bruh.
Do you have any other sound effects?
Baba Booey.
Nut.
Baba Booey.
All right. All right. You're done with that. You're done with that. Come on.
Kobe.
Baba Booey.
so
I feel like the Kobe one is a little out of taste right now.
Why do you think I had
I don't want to laugh at it. So
Kobe.
Okay.
oh man, you're really putting
to
us
be
in a
bad.
bad spot.
All right. So my first impressions on the game,
expectations.
or expectations, I should say. I didn't know what was going to come of it. I had a feeling that Joel was going to die or be injured again in some way. I didn't expect him to die so soon.
Yeah.
But with that said, that made the whole game. I wish I would have. I originally thought that I was going to play as Joel again, which would have been really nice.
At least for like parts of it.
Yeah, but granted, it kind of forced. It's kind of like a force of hand to make you go back and play the first game, and to really enjoy it and the storyline again.
Yeah, because in the first game, like besides Winter, it's all Joel. Like if
Yeah.
you want to play as Joel like that bad, honestly, just go play the first game. Like I feel like that is his chapter.
about that.
I feel like the game is in thirds. I feel like the first game is Joel. This half of this game is Ellie, and half is Abby. So like,
But you said this game's in thirds. What do you mean by that?
I feel like it could almost be Last of Us Part 2 and 3.
It is a long ass game.
In a good way, though.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been shitty if at a certain point they just make you wait for a few years to find out what happens.
Yeah,
I think after that theater scene probably, but maybe even before then.
It feels honestly like a 2.5. Like the whole last part feels like an epilogue.
Yeah, really.
Like everything after the Abby
Initial
part,
fight, yeah.
When you switch back to Ellie, it feels like.
So why don't we go ahead and go straight into the plot? So with Gate, this is where we start, and you get flashbacks to the first game, which, by the way, those look so good.
Yeah, everything in this game is beautiful.
I immediately was like, I wish someone would be able to get these models and remake the first game somehow. The environment you could leave alone, but whatever. I thought that was cool.
Which is expected of a Naughty Dog game. So everything is just...
And this is the only
pristine.
time you get to play as Joel, this whole game.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so short.
That little horse ride.
What'd you think of that little horse ride?
Which one?
It made me feel good. I was like, hell yeah, let's get
The
some Joel
Gate,
time
so like
in.
the very beginning of the game, where he's recapping the ending of the first game.
You're
He's talking to
literally just
Tommy.
riding into town as Joel, and then once he hands over the guitar, it switches over to Ellie.
It was okay. Yeah. That's all I have on that.
I mean, you really don't get to do anything with them.
It's
No.
just, I think, a way to show you the visuals of the game, like how it's going to initially look
It's a little bit of a tease, too.
of like the rest. So the
It really
game,
gets you attached to the character again and then takes it away immediately.
yeah. So then we get to downtown.
Whoa. What? Downtown what? Jackson?
Oh,
Are you
shit.
going straight into Seattle? Because you just skipped
No. Okay, yeah.
the
So
very beginning of the story.
sorry, I read that. I forgot Gate includes all of that too. So you start the game then as Ellie, which, what do you think about this game jumbling order of plot?
Once he hands over the guitar, which is the baton, you start playing as Ellie.
And then, so he hands over the guitar to Tommy. Or no, he doesn't ever hand over the guitar until he meets Ellie in her
Plays
shack.
the song.
Yeah, he plays
then he
Future
gives
Days
it
by
to
Pearl
her.
Jam.
Yeah.
I said that like an idiot. Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Future Days.
It's a good song, by the way.
It's a good song.
If you beat the game, I think on Grounded, you get to hear the full version. Or
you
no.
can just look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, you get the full version in Grounded. If you beat the game on Permadeath, you get Ellie singing that In the Valley song, the full version, which is cool.
You don't get to hear Take On Me again, though.
No. It's later on. So you get a little introduction. I could tell there was tension at that point.
Yeah.
Even in that moment. I feel like the tension between those two never really left.
Oh, it didn't.
Like ever.
No.
Maybe the dinosaur thing was a
Oh, man.
slight aversion. But again, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
that was before she found... Or was that before she found out?
Yes.
So yeah, she
Yeah, so... yeah, that tension never left, and I think that's what hit Ellie so hard.
Yeah. Well, of course. She regretted it, how she
Oh,
treated
yeah.
Joel.
You think so though?
Yeah, or else why would she be going after Abby so hard?
I think she
She had unresolved shit with Joel that she was trying to fix. Like, at the end, when we see what we see, like, it's obviously her trying to mend the wounds.
yeah. I think too, like, did you read the journals that she
Yes.
kept? I did too.
It was kind of weird, dude.
It was weird because throughout the whole thing, she's like, I don't know if they're going to understand if I tell them why Joel was killed. It leaves that whole thing of even she knows that, not that he deserved to die, but that this whole revenge thing, it's personal to her, but anyone else, it's really unwarranted.
Yeah.
So then it does a time jump of 5 years, and between this time, let's go ahead and do the flashbacks, I thought, just because we'll do this game kind of in sequential order instead of plot order. So the first flashback, is the dinosaur scene, which you get later on. What did you think of that?
I loved it.
It's a lot of people's favorite part of the
It
game.
was the only happy part of the game.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it was
like
very
this is a very
heartfelt.
dark and depressing game.
Yeah. Once Joel brought her to the space shuttle part,
Yeah.
I mean that
Amazing.
was great, and it almost made me want to tear up because when she came back from from inside her head, it just made me realize, oh, he's gone, he's dead, brutally murdered.
And she still kept that pin the whole time, too.
Are we going to talk about how he was killed?
Yeah, that's... so after the flashbacks... So...
No, the flashbacks were after he was killed.
I said we're
Do you have any
going...
napkins in here?
No.
I have
So-
to blow my nose.
So again, we're going in sequential order, not plot order. So
Sequential. So
we'll be going over
you're
the
doing-
flashbacks.
Oh,
Is that okay, or do you want to go...
I figured we could just tackle it as the game went, like
Okay,
as
that's
our
fine.
experiences were. But I mean,
So we'll just, when we get to where the dinosaur part would happen, we've already talked about it. So
Bruh.
as far as game goes, we see Ellie, and
not sniffing the microphone, please.
again, spoilers. Did you play this a second time?
Me?
Yeah, or anyone?
I barely got to finish the first time.
Do you have a hanky?
I'll be right back.
I'm
you
good,
guys
I'm
keep
getting-
going.
Can you grab me?
Go.
Can you grab me a beverage?
Talking. Or I guess I can cut this.
Yeah, just cut it.
Sorry.
You got a boogie? I got a boogie too.
No, I'm getting over a sinus infection, bro.
Why don't you go out there and get a handkerchief? No one's keeping you in here. You're not trapped. I didn't take notes, and I'm gonna go take notes now because I was a little lost on where these flashbacks went. Alec doesn't need to know this part though, so we're gonna cut this part out. He's probably gonna hear it in post because I don't edit these anymore because that's ass, and I don't like doing that. How have you been? It's been a while. I mean, we haven't seen each other for a long time. It's been a long time. I miss you guys. You miss me. I miss you all. It's been a good time, and he's really, he smells so bad in here. He's wiping a fucking booger. It's really his excuse to go put on probably another thing of deodorant. He fucking stinks. Oh my god. I am so embarrassed for him right now. Wowee, zowie. Now let's go take some notes because I did not do that shit before I got here like I said I would. I'm a fucking lazy bastard piece of shit.
Oh, zebra cakes? I want one. I'm hungry.
I am too. Let's get this done.
It's gonna be a long night.
Well,
You're definitely gonna see my ass tonight. And my balls.
any different from any other night?
All right. We ready?
Where were we?
We just met. We're about to meet Jesse. So we met Jesse. What do you think of Jesse? This part's going to be
Jesse's
pretty
cool.
quick. Jesse is cool. Jesse was
I
like
really
probably
like
one of my
Jesse.
favorite, if not my favorite character of the game.
Yeah,
I know, he's a little dickish.
I liked him better than Dina.
I thought he was going to be an asshole. Like, I don't know if what it was about the trailers or just like,
Yeah,
I knew Ellie and Dina were going to be a thing the way they were talking about at the beginning. I was like, oh, he's going to be like secretly shitty to her the whole time. Like, you stole my girl kind of attitude. But he wasn't. I don't think
Well,
ever.
at first I didn't realize how connected Ellie and Dina were. Like, how close they were, with their relationship.
I didn't either. There is a lot. That's the thing. Have you played this a second time?
No.
So throughout all of their meeting, pretty much until you meet Dina, they're talking about that night, the dance. And at first, when I first played this, I didn't pick up on that at all. Like, I was like, oh, they're talking about some other thing they went through. It's just side dialogue that the first game did where it's you don't need to know more context. But everything they talk about is you get to see it eventually. And that even leads up to when you go meet that guy that, he said some heinous shit. So that old dude. Mm-hmm. He said
the
some heinous
bartender?
shit. Yeah. And I thought it was more life and day. You'll never know what was said. They kind of leave it at that. But playing it a second time, it adds so much more context.
yeah, that's kind of what I figured would happen.
Like when then the next thing, I won't get ahead of myself, but the next thing is meeting Dina. Dina, again, I like all the new characters added.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to the other ones later, but
I don't think there was one character that I didn't like. Oh,
there was one. I bet I know who it is, but we'll get there. I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
All right, side note, real fast. I don't know why, but Tommy's voice annoyed me so much. I don't know if it was just too southern, too high pitch. I don't know. It just every time he said something, it just annoyed the shit out of me.
Tommy really annoyed me after he got shot.
Yeah,
I hated.
but I understand. I
do.
understood where he came from, though.
Oh yeah.
About just like not finishing what they.
What?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get. It's none of it's spoilers. Everyone played this game. I mean, we've already talked about the ending.
Yeah.
But, meeting Dina too, because she talks a little bit about that night. It's just the other thing is what Dina and Ellie talk about too is this movie night that they're supposed. Yeah, they're supposed to have the next night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you realize like the movie night was going to be the first time they really talked to each other probably in years, besides the very end scene where they're talking on the porch. But like a nice moment between those two, that was going to be the first time probably in 2 or 3 years, whenever that last flashback took place.
Yeah.
So I really like Dina. I think Dina's super cool. She's like a good mixture of almost like Ellie and Nathan Drake, I feel. They're very good at writing dialogue
I
for
kind of
those
got.
characters.
I mean, she was a cool character, but I felt like she got in the way a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
With Ellie. Yeah. I
Yeah,
felt
like going through all that shit and then be like, spoiler, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, the pregnancy shit. So we were going to get there in Seattle, but like that, I was annoyed too. I was like, oh fuck, because now we can't go do whatever we're going to do. But then I realized, well, that's not how these games work. This shit's what's going to happen is I'm going to have to do a lot of shit alone now. Yeah. It's going to be fucking terrifying playing this game.
God, I hated it.
Honestly,
alone.
I'd rather do things alone than have someone in the way.
No, I loved
when
it.
Somebody was with me.
I did.
Like it was.
What?
Dogs are barking.
That's okay.
But I felt really scared and it was terrifying, but it was still like fun. Like that's part of why I played this game. I really like that stuff. But not to jump ahead, you then.
So Joel gets.
Joel, you don't know where he's at. You just know that
He's on his rounds with Tommy.
He's on his rounds, yeah. Like they're on the thing, but that's all you know so far. Then you have that snowball fight with Dina, but they're going back and they're talking about it. But then they want to find. They're just going on their route, right? But throughout this route, towards the end, you get a cut, and you're playing as Abby.
What were your initial feelings when you switched over to Abby?
I didn't know anything about her, so I didn't know what her deal was yet.
Other than the trailer that we got.
I noticed that.
I didn't know that was her, honestly.
Right.
I figured it was her because she was
Beefy.
fucking beefcake.
Well, my first thought was like, who is this chick? Why am I playing as her? But then once I started running through the woods and that scary ass fucking part of the game, I was like, man, she is a beast.
Yeah.
Like compared to Ellie of like hand-on-hand combat with those clickers and runners or whatever they're called. You know, it was.
Excuse me. Go ahead and continue.
Bruh.
It was.
Baba Booey.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed when I came to Abby. I had no idea where to go to or that she'd be the one who would,
I had a realization that she wasn't Ellie's mom because I know
Yeah.
that was one of the biggest rumors once the trailer came out.
Really?
That was gonna be
when
Ellie's mom.
that part where she's being hung up.
Mm-hmm.
That was the trailer, and like, but there was no other context to what was happening. You didn't even know it was a Last of Us trailer. It just like clicker ran in at the end.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea what that game even was yet. But I think this. So Abby introduces some throughout the whole game. She introduces a lot of like new gameplay elements, and one thing is like hordes, which you saw a little bit in the first game. But as far as interacting and seeing like probably I think around 100 on screen, like running after you, this starts a theme. I thought about it after the fact of like the coolest moments in the game happen when you're playing as Abby. And I don't know if that was on purpose to get you to like her, but the fun, like intense moments happen when you're playing as her.
Yeah.
That's why when someone doesn't like the game and they haven't played it, I think
It
that's
turns
part of
into
it.
like an actual zombie game, like where it's run sequences and like straight horror.
Not all the time though. Like
In the beginning.
yeah, in the beginning, yeah.
That first scene with her that's exactly what it reminded me of. I felt like I was playing Left 4 Dead or something.
Very action packed.
Yeah.
Because you don't know
Made
a lot
my
about
butthole
her.
pucker up.
When did you know? So we're kind of intersplicing just to kind of move along here. So Dina and Ellie smoke a joint and they go to bed, and then
They fuck.
but before Jesse comes back and tells them that they never return, you get the scene where Abby was just saved by Joel, and you meet up with Joel. First time you see him current.
Yeah. Abby takes them back to their camp.
When did you know shit was fucked? Did you have any inklings?
Yeah.
That she was like, that shit was about to go down before it happened?
You know, when she was introduced, she said to Owen, like, he's there. And at that time, I thought, you know, maybe they throw a curveball and they're looking for someone else, and maybe
Like
we're going to
Tommy.
go save this person. But by the time that she meets up with Joel and Tommy, you can just see her character kind of shift to where she's really quiet and really reserved, but she's also like fighting with them. So it was really confusing. And then when she gets back to base with them and they're helping him out, and then once he says his name, the room gets fucking quiet. And you can just feel it, like, this is not good.
People online, this is where another big criticism comes. It's like, just to see what you guys can defend it with, if at all, if you want to. Why did he give himself up? Why did he say who he was, being so guarded like he was in the first game?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, because in the first game, he never, like, said his name like that.
He's
was
super
always-
guarded.
Yeah. So I don't know if he just, like, yeah, that was weird.
To me,
Maybe it was just like so much time had passed.
He just got old.
he got comfortable.
Yeah, he got comfortable.
Like, he was starting to let his guard down. And I think in that moment, he realized, like, this is what you get.
Well, yeah, he found home.
He got too comfortable, and then this was a reminder of, like, you can't do that. You
Yeah.
can't do that here. And he paid for it.
Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. But I know, yeah, a lot of people did not like that.
Yeah. So then,
So should we get to the scene?
yeah, we're going to get to it. So they wake up. Jesse tells them that, hey, Joel and Tommy, they didn't come back. Immediately, Ellie, which again, this has different context playing it after you beat it once and you know all the plot beats.
Well, before this, we know that Joel gets his fucking leg blown off.
Yeah, so like they take him back and Joel admits to, like, he says who he is, like, or no, Tommy says, this is Tommy and this is my brother, and Joel says his name and everyone gets quiet and he says, y'all act like you heard of us or something. And Abby's like, yeah, bitch. And then takes his fucking kneecaps off.
Kobe!
Yee, Alec.
She shot his leg off, she said,
Kobe!
and she blew that leg right off.
Do we need to put you in timeout? So, yeah, his fucking knee's
I'm
gone.
not saying because Kobe died. I'm saying, like, Kobe.
Hey, buddy. Hey, pal.
All right.
Hey, pal.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's go.
Time to move on. So, yeah, his knee gets just demolished. So then, Ellie's, going straight out with her horse, just trying to find him, yelling his name. She gets in the cabin that they're all staying in. She's the only one. She goes alone. Like, other people were following her, but she goes so fast that she ends up being alone. And then it happens. She goes downstairs where she's hearing yelling. Sounds like Joel. And then the scene happens. They kick her ass down. She can see that Joel was being beat up. She gets one good hit
They're
on.
both laying face down on the floor.
Yeah, she slices that dude's face.
By the way, did you recognize who that guy was?
That's the guy that you kill first, isn't it?
So it's that. But
It's the problematic guy that nobody likes.
in Uncharted 4, that guy plays young Sam. Didn't know if you caught that. Well, Easter eggs with Chris, but
Naughty Dog.
So, takes Ellie down, and then she has to watch it. You see, how many times do you see this scene? I feel like you see it at least 3 times. This was hard. Like, this was hard to watch.
Oh yeah, dude. When that all happened, like my fucking mouth just dropped.
I was getting so mad.
I was like, they're really doing this right now. It's like the game has just started.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. And it's so brutal too. Like it was.
They didn't just put him out of his
graphic.
misery. Like
They
they
beat
beat
the
the
fuck
fuck
out
out of him.
Yeah, and especially when you like go back to his house right after that, and you just see everything that he had in there. Like it really felt like a loved one had just died.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you
Like-
cry at any moment?
No.
Do you like all the golf? I almost cried when Joel was murdered. But did you like the golf ball memes that
There's so many golf memes. So stupid. But
hated this part?
it was hard. I teared up a little bit when I went up and I saw Sarah's picture, the one that Ellie gave him, and seeing like all the pictures and drawings were making me tear up a little bit. Like the one where she drew Joel and he framed it.
I almost cried when I found out that he got coffee. Because that was like a big meme from the first game. It was like, I miss coffee.
But in that last
Got his
conversation.
coffee. Yeah.
Did this game ever make you cry? Did you ever tear up?
I did not weep from the game, but I teared up.
Yeah, I teared up. I never like cried. This game was very angry. Like,
I cried from the first game.
yeah, the first one. Oh, I didn't weep though. It was another thing of
No.
just tearing up. It's
Yeah.
just that part was getting me.
I didn't cry in the first one either.
Well, aren't you just a hard ass?
What did you think was initially happening when she was like, "Fucking Tommy"? My thought was like, "Oh man, like he's there and he's not letting any of them go. He's being a dick." Because
Which part are you at?
we're still like right after Joel dies, Ellie goes back. Like Dina comes and confronts her and all that, and then you get a little scene of Ellie sitting in her room and Tommy comes in. Mm-hmm. Tommy is really cold, and even when he hugs her when he leaves, he like gives her a second and's like, "Okay, get off me," kind of way. I don't know if it's because of how he felt, but like totally didn't give any.
I feel
you
like
think
his
they'd act like
character,
Finley.
his character was conflicted because, like, obviously he wanted to go after Joel and he wanted to go with Ellie and do all that. Like, initial reactions to just go and fuck up this girl. But I felt like he was conflicted because his wife, Marissa. Is that
Yeah,
her?
whatever.
That's one way of looking
She
at it.
obviously was like, "You're not going,"
Another way of looking at it is
and she's like the head honcho of
Right.
She's the
Jackson.
mayor of the
well. Another
building.
way of looking at it is like, oh, you were there too. You could have done something, but you didn't.
Oh, I bet there's so much guilt because he's the one that initially said who they were.
Yeah,
I bet he had so much guilt.
There's probably so many emotions going through his head that
I didn't really connect with Tommy though.
I
didn't
never
really
did
connect with
either.
His emotions. I didn't really consider his emotions when I was playing. I was totally connected with Ellie.
Did you ever disconnect from Ellie?
No.
Were you ever not disconnect, but were you ever like, she's going a little too far?
No, fuck no.
No.
I loved it when she went too far.
I kind of disconnected with her when I started playing as Abby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just not in a way of like, I forget how she's feeling about this, and maybe that's not as bad as what I originally thought, and maybe she shouldn't be doing all these things.
Do you
It was
think
more of like, I forget how it is playing as her and her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that's what they were aiming for?
I think so, and I think that's why they made her parts way more fun. Like, let's move on. Let's move on because we're close. We're now at Seattle.
Dad.
Yeah, let's go to Seattle day one.
Seattle day
Ellie
one.
obviously leaves, and Dina trails behind her.
Yeah, this is just kind of character building. I don't think the only thing I think happens day one was Ellie's mask breaks. Like, because they're going through and they're finding the WLF. Yo, you know what?
If you want to break away from story stuff, we can talk about their first kind of open world
Yeah.
setting in this game.
So that's not the first time they've done this. They took this from that Uncharted 4
Yeah.
DLC thing. I thought that was cool. I mean, because I was pissed because like you told me something you found that I didn't find, and I was so shitty about that ring.
Oh, yeah. You find Drake's ring.
I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe
Did
I
you
fucking
find the
missed it.
Oracle from Jack? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'll say there's 2 Easter eggs in there.
I thought that was cool. You get because you could that take on me moment. You could totally miss.
Really?
Yeah, you can move right past it. That record store isn't mandatory at all, and in fact, there's
Oh,
not really
yeah.
much in there.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Avery? Take on me.
It
moment.
was so fucking cheesy.
It was weird. It's so out of place. I thought it was cool. I was like sitting there. I was like, man, this is cool. Like, but why is it in here? Like,
I appreciated the fact that they put that much detail into it of like, oh, you can wander on and do this and that and this and that. And I mean, I thought it was, when she started singing it, I was like, okay, we get it. Like,
Remind me. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. I forgot what I was saying. So.
Remind me at some point to talk about the actress for Ellie and how she's kind of like distanced herself from that character. I've noticed.
from Ellie?
Yeah.
I don't know.
She did not promote anything for this game.
Really?
No, there's interviews she's had after the game launched. I mean, they didn't probably talk about it a lot because there's probably not much they could say.
Well, I'm talking about like social media and stuff. Like Troy Baker's obviously really active, but he was such a minimal part of the game.
I've seen 2 interviews with Ashley Johnson. One where she's with Troy Baker. I've seen that Last of Us podcast, which is really cool. Like, you should really check that out if you haven't.
Okay.
They go... Now, not only go plot by plot, but they use like audio from the game.
Do you want to plug it?
I mean, it's cool. Just go listen to it.
What's
It's
it called?
Just the Last of Us podcast. PlayStation's the one that created
It's on
it.
Spotify.
Yeah, but she taught, and they go full spoilers too. They're not. They assume you beat the game.
Yeah.
But Ellie, it seems like she's very personal and she's very defensive. Like when people don't like the direction they took the game, it seems that she actually gets really offended because she's like, no one. If you're mad about Joel dying, there's no one more upset than the 3 of us. And she's talking about Neil, Troy, and herself. She's like,
Yeah.
we loved those characters. Like, it gave weight to it because Ashley Johnson's dad also died, like when she was around that age herself.
Oh, really?
So there was a lot more emotion specifically to that scene that, like, I can't even imagine.
I hope they do another making of
I do too.
for this game because the one for the first one is just so good.
But
Anyway,
I think she's the role's very personal for her. It's her biggest role ever. It's probably the biggest role she'll ever get.
I think she's in a movie now.
Yeah, but like I feel like this is bigger than most
Yeah.
movies.
Oh yeah,
This is like a phenomenon. But
cultural.
but so the thing that happens mostly in day one, it's just teaching you combat pretty much, but also mechanics of the game, backpack, all
Yeah.
the stuff. You also start to get hints at Abby, who she is and where she, like her group. You get these pictures and all that. At the end of day one, your mask breaks, and then you realize, I realized at least, maybe I wasn't paying attention before, but fuck, Ellie hasn't told anyone about
Yeah.
her circumstance.
Yeah.
Because Dina was shocked.
Still,
She was like, what the fuck?
yeah, still nobody knows.
That was
Which is
a
crazy.
tense scene. And then at the end of that, after they get back, you find out Dina's pregnant.
Yeah,
And
what
that's
they get.
those are the 2 big things for day one. Is
We
you
get
find-
Wear a rubber.
I don't know if they had rubbers.
we get to the theater.
Pull out.
Yeah, you get to the theater, you find the theater. And that's when the first flashback happens of the dinosaur thing.
Yes,
What's that one guy's name who impregnated her?
Jesse.
Jesse.
He's day 2.
Jesse's pullout game is weak.
Pullout game is weak. So kind of moving on to day 2, you take out some of the people, and in day 2 you meet. It's either day 2 or day 3. It's like, I think, end of 1 or beginning of 1. You meet the Seraphites. This because you meet the WLF in day 1, and at the beginning of day 2, you fight the Wolves. But in the middle of or like towards the end of day 2, you meet
The Scars.
the Scars. Yeah, it's in day 2 because Jesse hadn't seen them yet, and they
Which
talk
are
about
these motherfuckers with scars on their faces, and they communicate by whistling.
They're complete stealth, and they're very hard to kill.
That first encounter with them was a pain in the ass.
I
but it
honestly
was
loved
awesome.
that.
I did too.
Oh yeah,
I
it was
loved
so
that
much fun.
shit.
Way better than the fucking stalkers. I hate those motherfuckers.
Oh man, the Infected. So at this point with the Infected, the only new one you met so far is Stalkers. No, you haven't met the Stalkers yet. You haven't met any new Infected. Just ones from the last game, like Runners.
Well, when was the
Clickers.
subway scene?
The subway scene. So again, that's just clickers.
That's after you get caught.
Yeah, that's after you get caught. It's the subway scene, and you not learn because it's in the DLC from the first game, but that you can pin them against each other, which is cool. I find that very cool.
Yeah.
But in day 2, after fighting the Seraphites, you get an encounter with the WLF again, and they're everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. I thought for real, I was like, I don't know how. I'm running out of fucking ammunition and shit. I don't know where to go. I eventually just ran, and then I realized, oh no, you're supposed to run at this part because they're everywhere. It's like another horde, but just of people. And that's when someone grabs your mouth and pulls you back. And in the trailers, this was Joel.
Yes.
In the game, this is Jesse.
Yep.
Jesse saves you.
So marketing was
Marketing misled people on purpose.
a plan. It's planned marketing.
So you end up with Jesse. You get kind of a cool sequence of the truck when they're escaping.
Yeah.
And then once you escape, you do end up back at the theater. And then Jesse meets Dina. Jesse doesn't know Dina's pregnant yet. But he kind of figures it out. He can kind of tell something's off. But then the flashback happens as they're talking of Ellie going back to Utah at the hospital.
To the hospital, yeah.
What did you think of this part?
Made me sad.
Were you kind of mad at Ellie, but understood at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Because you had the context of everything that just happened to Joel, so you're mad that she's talking to him like that, but at the same time,
I
you're
understood, yeah, that she needed to. She didn't get any closure. She felt.
yeah. I was understanding. I don't know what you're doing over there, but you understood it. What'd you feel, Avery? What'd you think of this whole part? Did you understand her? Or were you kind of?
Yeah, but at the same time, I was still upset about Joel's death. So, whatever she was feeling, it just didn't match. I understood where each character came from, with their choices of how Joel killed all those people to save Ellie. And Ellie treating Joel like shit because he did all those things. But at the same time, nothing, even if they were to have a cure and to have cured everything, nothing would be the same. So, either way, either outcome, everybody would still be fucked.
Don't hate me, but I got these flipped. So this happens at the end of day 3. Excuse me, I know. Don't hate me. But the flashback that actually happens at this part, I totally forgot about it. It's one of my favorite parts because it reminds me so much of the first game. The first bloater encounter with Joel.
Yeah.
I thought you had it flipped.
Yeah, I fucked that up. But so really, so I guess when we get to that part, we'll just be like, hey, we talked about.
So this is the hotel.
This is the hotel, and we are learning how to snipe. But before this,
They're going to the music shop.
yeah, but before this flashback happened, at the end of day 2, what causes this flashback to happen was you killed Nora at the hospital. Holy fuck, that scene. That girl, I wanted her to die so bad after what she said. Because remember, this is the part that was in that final trailer for the game. Yep. You meet up with Nora, and you're like trying to get info on Abby, and Nora says like, "Do you still hear his screams?"
Oh my god.
Yeah, that little bitch got exactly what he deserved, or something like that. I was like, I hope she needs to die. I want to kill her so hard.
She really drove it home. Like, she was fucking evil. Like, even Abby wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And then you do.
Yeah.
You do get to fucking demolish her. Yeah, I did feel good. Because then, the first time playing it, you don't know who that is. You just know that she's talking some shit.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a movie sequence. Like, you repeatedly hit square or whatever it was.
Until you just beat her fucking head in.
Did you make it last? Like, did you savor it?
Yeah.
She cries. I tried to see how long I could go before it, like, made me do it. It never does. But she does say things, cries, and spits. And she eventually curses you out. But, like, after the second to last one, she, like, starts to, like, squeal a little bit and shit. And you just beat her one more time.
Love it.
Yeah. And then, the flashback with the first bloater. This moment was cool. I like the sniping too, but for me it was going with Joel. The bloater fight was neat. That's the first time you see one, too, in this game.
Yeah, and it's fucking terrifying.
Also, side note, I think, I mean, kind of obviously, Abby was stronger than Joel.
Yeah. Abby's got fucking guns. We're about to get to her section.
My God.
She's inspired me to start working out.
She's got beefs.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I have been.
I'll believe it when I see it.
All right.
So that part's cool. It's action. You realize like there's some hostility because Ellie's like, if we had a cure, this wouldn't have to be this way. And Joel's like, I wish things were whatever they ain't. Kind of, I don't know. Just trying to get to the next section.
When you speak of Joel and what he says, you got to say it like Joel.
Ellie.
With that southern twang.
I wish things were different, but they ain't.
There you go.
I miss coffee.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Now, Ellie, this is the Bible.
So
I got you this here guitar.
Folks here call this guitar.
I know it ain't nothing special, but I got
You see this,
for
Ellie?
you.
This is a gun.
So anyways, day 3.
You like my horsey?
So at this point in day 3, you had tracked down a few people. You killed that guy you scarred at the beginning, and you killed Nora, and you came across some other people dead from the scars. But this is where you split up from Jesse because they're trying to find...
And Dina.
Yeah, Dina, you left at the
When you find out she's
theater.
pregnant, she just stays at the fucking theater.
Yeah, she no longer really is involved until the fight. But your plan then is like, you've killed so many of their friends. Let's get Tommy and go home. So there comes a point when you've left the theater that it's raining and all that. And Jesse's like, okay, we know where Tommy's going. Let's go get him. But you'd also been fed. This is where Abby's going to be, is at this aquarium. And Ellie decides, I'm going after Abby. She's right there. You can go get Tommy and we'll all meet back. And her and Jesse have this weird like little fight where he's like, I hope you make it. Which was to me like, man, Ellie's going a lot for this. Like risking literally all her friends she's had at this point. But still, I'm like, you know what? No, let's go fucking kill this big muscle bitch. You see that donkey video?
Yes.
That was a good one.
Yep.
I like
Donkey
that.
always nails it.
Yeah, but so then pretty much you don't find Abby. You get on this boat. You get told the boat mechanics. Again, you've not really come across anything new yet. You fight a bloater, which was hard in the arcade, but that was cool. But then you get to the aquarium. I felt like some shit was really going to go down. I was like, oh, this is about to be really hard. Like it's final boss shit. I was like, man, this seems very end of game, and we're not very far in it. And then, yeah, you killed Nora. What?
He's making fun of you.
Why? What are you doing?
Nothing, continue.
No, go ahead. You take over the plot. What happens here, Avery?
I don't know. What's
Oh my god.
Go for it. What happens?
killed Nora, and then you run into this monster bloater thing. My God, I don't even. This was a new character in the game, actually. Probably one of the most scariest.
What are you talking about?
And when you run into the ambulance.
That's way far ahead. That's when you're playing as Abby. But it's the
No,
same
it's not.
time.
That's when you're playing as. That's when you're
it's
playing
Abby.
as Ellie.
It's Abby.
No, you're thinking of like the acid ones.
Oh yeah, you're
The-
right.
No, I'm talking about the monster one.
What do they call them?
When after you kill Nora.
They're not bloaters. What are they called? Fuck.
It starts with an S, I think.
Shamblers.
Shamblers. Yeah.
Yeah, the real pimply guys that spew acid.
No.
No, I know what you're talking about, but that's not until that's the Rat King you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's Abby,
Abby.
when she's trying to get.
Oh, okay. I
that-
thought it was Ellie.
Let's just try to get through some of this because we're already running a little late. But so
Yeah, we're going way too long.
yeah, we're going way too long. So
You
you
wanna
kill
do a
Nora, you
part
find
two?
out. No, you kill Nora, you find out she's pregnant. Let's just blow through
You
it.
won't get me back.
You find out she's pregnant, and you're like, oh no, because Dina's pregnant. And then the switch happens. Some wild shit happens. So you go back to the theater, and then, they're talking to Jesse like, hey, they got what they deserve. Tommy's like talking about this diamond thing. And then he runs off, goes to the front of the theater to do whatever. All of a sudden, you hear some business. You go run out. Who was there? Fucking Abby and her big ass muscles. You
With
don't
the
see
gun.
Lev in this part.
Well, as soon as Ellie runs out, fucking Jesse gets
Yeah,
blown
he-
in the face.
Yeah, he dies.
Just like that. I was like, holy shit!
And that was the most tense
Holy
moment so
shit, mate.
far.
It
And
got
then
shot in the fucking
it was so
face.
fucking and then flashback.
Yep.
And then you're playing as,
pulled the good old fashioned switcheroo.
I think this part was very short, rightfully
It's like-
so.
It's like I'm listening to an audiobook right now.
What would you
That's-
rather do, Avery?
Yeah, what do you think this is?
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just
Where you going? I think this is
I'm
a good way
making a statement.
we get through going plot by plot. We're making sure we hit everything we
That's
talk about.
fine.
Oh,
I'm
now,
just making a statement.
Now we're playing as Abby.
yeah, we're playing as Abby. You get to see her
And
dad.
we're back to day one.
Yeah, you get
This
that
is like
flashback
30
of
hours
the dad.
into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, day one. So this is more action packed.
I remember when Avery was playing this, he's like, you get to a section of the game where you're just like, what is the point of going on? And I feel like this was what you were talking about.
Were you ready to quit when you saw day one as Abby? Were you like, I'm done playing
I
this game?
think it was around day 2. I was just like, oh my gosh,
And you're not
because
the only one that
I
felt
saw
that
a
No, I felt that way too.
I saw some sort of repetition of like, the day 1, day 2, day 3. Like I didn't want to go through that again. I didn't know if it was going to be day 3 or day 4 or day 5 or if it was going to be longer than that. So I was like,
I thought it was really cool how they lined up the events
Yeah.
and how
Yeah.
you saw it from both sides. That was one of the coolest elements of this game, I think.
it was cool, but it made me sad.
So I thought it was kind
Messed me
of.
up.
It started slow, and then you meet Lev, and you get that whole scene of like the hanging and all that. You meet Lev and Yara. Then day one ends, but day one ends with a bang.
Well, who is Lev and Yara?
They're past Seraphites. One gets captured.
Scars.
Or yeah, same thing. But that all happens, and you meet them, and like they're kids.
When you were playing as Abby and you had Lev as your companion, it made it feel so much like the first game. And I really enjoyed that part.
But we're skipping one of the most memeable moments in this entire game.
I thought you had already skipped ahead.
No, we're at day one, into day one for Abby,
Oh, okay, go ahead.
and you meet up with
Spanish guy.
no, not Spanish guy, her lover boy,
Oh, Owen.
Owen, and they fuck.
Oh yeah.
That was
Wait. Oh yeah. I remember when I got to this part.
Oh, yeah, you saw her peck titty.
I saw this part and I immediately texted Avery and Chris. I'm like, "Whoa, titties!" And I was like, "Whoa, lack thereof." But
It was straight up a peck.
yeah, I thought she was a dude when I saw that. I thought because like even Mason said online there was like a whole trans movement and people thought that she was actually a dude, and they were just.
They were wrong though. Like there was one, but it wasn't Abby.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, it was Lev.
Oh, Lev was a girl.
Yeah.
What?
Dude, did you not pay attention in the game? Were you just trying to finish Abby's part so you weren't paying attention?
Boy.
No, Lev. That's why they got captured and they were in their situation because Lev.
That
was
part
a
definitely
girl.
did confuse me at first, but then I caught on to it.
Oh, I thought it was just because he was a kid.
No, Lev was a girl.
Or she was a kid.
Lev was a girl, and then she shaved her head because she was supposed to get forced married to some like elder of their tribe or whatever. Yeah. So she shaved her head, became a boy, and then they got pretty much thrown out of their group.
Oh, whoa!
I can't believe you.
No, I did not catch that.
Fool. But that's day 2.
Holy shit!
There's some other things that happened day 2. Some big
Only
things.
took him 3 months to beat the game.
Yeah, seriously.
Moving on.
I thought you paid attention, but so what happens in day 2 is you get bonding with Lev, but then the big bonding is them going up on that skyscraper, and
2 bros, huh?
yeah, two.
Two fucking okay.
So, anyways,
Go.
they're on that skyscraper thing. That was terrifying.
Rescue me.
That was where I humanized a lot with Abby.
I loved how they added that effect with her. If you look down from heights,
She like
the
quivered up,
tunnel vision was so cool.
but she falls
Yes,
because she's scared of heights. That's her thing. Like for
it's her
as brave
kryptonite.
and strong as she is, she's also scared of heights.
Pussy.
But
Pussy.
when you fall down, you go into this pool. And this is where I was ready to take a break because I knew shit was about to be hard as hell.
I had no idea.
This is the hotel.
Yeah.
And
And I remember when I was, because you guys have beat it so far ahead of me, but I remember you guys explicitly saying there's a whole section of the game that's like
ass.
nightmarishly
but-
hard. You just said it was like terrifying and scary. So
And
I
this-
thought it was just going to be a bunch of fucking...
Yes, this for the rest of the day. Like this until you get to day 3 is the scariest part of the game. You get that hotel, which those stalker
wall
things
people.
that grow in the wall are everywhere.
Yeah. I really liked them though. They were kind of cool.
They were cool. Like I thought it was all cool. It's just it was scary
Scared
as
the
shit.
shit out of me.
And then once you're finally through all of that,
There's a bloater.
there's a bloater, but then like you realize, oh, the hospital's right there, but I have to go in alone. You end up getting separated from Lev because Lev can't go in there.
So you don't have a mask.
Well, no, Lev had a mask because you got that in the hotel. But when you get to the hospital, that's swarming with wolves. So Lev can't go in there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they end up capturing Abby, chain her up. So she's there probably half a day. But
And they're hunting for medical supplies for Lev's sister.
yeah, because she's got an arm that needs pretty much amputated.
Fucking shattered.
But so they capture Abby because
Does
they.
get amputated.
Yeah, I know.
It needs amputated.
Yeah, like so she needs like a syringe and this box of supplies. And
So we get to the hospital.
Nora saves you.
Yes.
She unlocks you, and this is cool because it's like that turning on the power down there is why the power was on with Ellie, but also Nora's about to eat shit. So, but Nora tells you where to go, and she's like, "Remember, this hospital was pretty much ground zero," and you're like, and she's like, "No one's even down there anymore." So there's a bunch of shit down there, and you're gonna be the only person.
It's giving me like PTSD. When she says that, I was just like, fuck. That's where I stopped.
Do you need
Yeah, I
to
took
take
a
some
break.
Lexapro
Maybe.
Well,
or some
I'm starting to get
Xanax?
stressed.
so this is the part Avery was getting to. You go in the hospital.
Rat King.
Rat King, but you hear the Rat King throughout the whole thing, and because the power is off, as soon as you turn that power on, it makes a bunch of noise and everything's coming at you.
Yeah.
But when you're fiddling around down there, there's this door that's locked, and she uses her big beefy arms to try to open
You
it.
feel bush.
Huh?
When you're feeling around down there, you feel bush.
Anyways, she tries to open a door, and it slams shut. But then all of a sudden, I had not my headphones on, but I was at someone's house dog sitting. Literally, I felt like the whole house shook from the thing. It was like, I was like, what the fuck is that? I about pissed myself.
You had headphones on though.
No, I had it, but I had it full up. Like
Yeah.
I put because I was the only one home. I
Did
was
you
like,
play with your headphones on?
No.
you play. I would have
Oh,
been
I
terrified.
have that subwoofer though, so it was still.
I had the full sound in my headset. I'm like, dude, it was.
I would have been able to
I
do
would have
it.
shit my pants.
But
I'd randomly.
Did you start
the-
crying?
The only reason why I had my headset on was so that my girlfriend couldn't hear the game, but once something popped out at me, I'd be like, go 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 go.
So-
I have never cursed so much playing a game.
so real
That
quick,
whole part was like fuck shit fuck.
This game is the reason why you're going to hell.
let's say this. So what happens real quick just to get there? She turns on the power. All the infected start coming out of their like hospital rooms and stuff. And then you go back where you came from, and then you see that big door was open, but it's just a cesspool of blood
Yeah.
everywhere,
And a bunch
like
of
birth.
handprints.
Yeah, a bunch of handprints, and you end up realizing I've got to follow it.
It's
And
the
you-
monster from inside.
So you go, you follow it, and then you see, hey, you're in the parking garage now. Hey, there's a medical vehicle. So you go in there, you find the supplies, but then all of a sudden everything shakes, and you hear something walking around making. I don't even know how they got the noise.
It crept up on you.
Yes.
And like it did the classic like hand reaching around the corner, and then it slowly crept in. But it didn't stop.
No.
It wasn't just one thing. It was just this conglomerate of.
Yeah.
So this.
And it was just like, what the fuck is that?
I at this point was like, oh fuck, like trying to go through it. I
remember
literally
you,
was.
you imitated like your scream. I remember when you got past you're like, there's this one part that made me scream out loud.
I was literally like, because it was like scaring the shit. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, am I moving here? I can't tell. And then like, that thing was so scary.
And then it chases you. And
Yeah,
you're
it
just
chases
like, what
you.
the fuck?
Did it guys take you a couple times to get through that, or did it just take you one?
No,
When
I
you
only
get to
got-
the end of the chase scene, it killed me because I didn't realize you can keep running.
When the thing separates, that's what got me. That little thing that pretty much births from it. Yeah, that like splits off. I was like, this is nasty.
Yeah, that was some intense.
That thing got me.
Shit.
Like, I had to do that part twice. But, yeah, that
and
whole
it burst
thing.
through the walls
When
and
it-
shit.
There's a part where you're trying to get the door open and you've avoided its clutches the whole time, but it actually picks you up, like
Yes.
scripted, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm about to die. And then like you get it with the axe. I was like, oh.
So good.
My heart was racing. That was the coolest, like probably the coolest moment of the game, I thought. Maybe
I wouldn't say it's the coolest.
there's so many good ones. Like, but
No,
hey,
I'd say the one. I don't want to jump ahead, but go ahead. Just
yeah, we're getting there.
continue.
So that's pretty much the end of day 2. Like you get back with the supplies to Yara. They end up having to take her arm off, and then day 3 happens. And what the start of day 3 is,
Well, by this time, Lev and Abby have bonded.
yeah, they're bonded. Like it's
Attached.
kind of like Joel and Ellie,
Yes,
pretty much.
very much like Joel and Ellie, which is what I was talking about earlier. I really liked that moment with Lev.
Yeah, I did too.
Kind of took away from the.
They're the pair I cared the most about pretty much towards the end. Besides, I liked Ellie a lot too, but I really cared for their story a lot
Yeah.
going forward.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so much more consequence to it. So day 3, I think, is probably the most nuts day. So Lev, they're all planning on leaving. Like Owen, because he abandoned the wolf station. What's her name? Not
we completely
Nora.
skipped the first part of day 3 for Ellie, by the way,
Oh well.
and the aquarium.
No, we didn't. We got to the aquarium with Ellie.
Did we talk about how she killed Owen and a pregnant woman?
Yeah, we said that.
Oh, okay. That must have been when Avery was making fun of you.
Yeah,
I
probably.
wasn't paying attention.
So, what's her name?
I don't know, but that is the one character I didn't like.
Yeah, that's me too.
Okay.
I did not like her.
So yeah,
She bothered
I
me
hated her
so
face.
much. And this is
Stupid
where I
fucking
knew
bug eyes.
I knew like when we played as Abby, I was like, man, they're not gonna get me. I know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Trying to make me feel. But when she told Abby off, I was like, fuck you. What does Abby got to do with that? Fuck, don't
Yeah,
come at
she's a
Abby like
bitch.
that. And I was like, she fucking killed Joel. Like, what's happening? Why do I care so much?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was
Even
like,
just now, I'm just like, yeah, fuck Abby, but like, yeah,
she didn't need to talk to Abby like that.
this
what
is
did Abby
such
do?
like a, yeah.
It made everyone feel real,
Well,
but
she just knew about the history that she had with Owen.
Owen, yeah, like it's the same thing. Like she's not unjustified with her anger too. But so, anyways, what happens here is the setup is they're all trying to leave, but Lev doesn't want to leave their mom, so Lev goes to Seraphite Island, where the Space Needle in Seattle is, which broke off.
Flooded
Yeah,
for some
it
reason?
flooded, and it pretty much became its own island, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then like there's gonna be a bunch of Seraphites, pretty much the hardest enemies in the game.
Yeah.
So you go fight them.
This part was really fun.
This was really fun. Like the whole chase sequence, the burning aspect of everything. Like Lev couldn't save their mom. Like
Just
Lev ends up
tearing through Seraphites.
and Seraphite's that big
Just
dude
massacre.
that you fought.
Yes.
Yeah, and you pretty much got at his jaw and was ripping at it.
And Big
riding
Bertha
the horse.
earlier. But
Yeah. Oh yeah, Big Bertha.
Yeah, that
But-
dude, he was like, you fuck him up,
Yeah.
and he just keeps coming back. It was like a horror movie.
Did
like
you
Jason?
when you got to the end of that part where you're like just trying to get to the boat so you can get the fuck out of there, where they were fighting each other? Did you let them fight the whole time, or did you try to
No,
intervene?
I was trying to get the fuck out of there.
But I mean, like, did you try to sneak past them and let them fight each other, or did you like try to take on both?
Before you get to the boat?
Yeah.
And the big guy? No, I killed everyone I could. Well, there was
I
some
snuck
parts-
around out because they eventually kill all of them. Like
Oh,
you
really?
maybe have like I had like one or two I had to kill like once it was all settled. But yeah, they really do kill each other.
I took out the wolves, and then I had to face quite a few Seraphites.
Yeah, but that was scary. And then yeah, everything's burning, and you kill that guy. You take his fucking jaw out, and Yara dies.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about Isaac, but
Isaac,
he's
yeah.
kind of small.
Yeah, I mean, he's built to be like the main antagonist, but doesn't really.
But I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's another thing of like it's a bonus
It's
for
a- yeah,
playing
it's a
the
side
game.
story.
You get to see, but
There's so many elements that go into it.
But Yara ends up dying throughout all this, so it's really just Abby and Lev. So then you're trying to get back so you can get to the aquarium so you, Owen, and what's her Goober McPregnant face can all leave. But then you know it's happening because you're like, you realize in that moment, oh, it's raining, and then you're like, oh, it's raining. Ellie just fucking killed these two, and I'm about to go back and see it.
Yep.
And then you're like putting the pieces, like this is where everything starts to happen, and you get to that tense scene. Did you think you were going to play as... So you get to Ellie, right? Because you see everything.
It gets back to the end of day 3 where the big switch was.
The stories really converged. Did you think you were going to play as Abby in that fight?
I thought I was going to play as Ellie.
I did
thought I was
too.
gonna switch back.
Ellie was so fucking hard.
Yeah, she was.
I died so many fucking times to Ellie.
It was like
Which
3
made
or
her
4.
kinda cool.
It was 3 or 4 tries for me.
I felt it was cool though. I was like, man, they making her hard to beat.
And you guys suck at video games. It
Once-
took me once.
Once you get,
How did you? How did you die so many times with the Rat King then?
I didn't.
I thought you said you had to play that like a few times.
No.
why'd you ask then?
I was
Fucking
just
liar.
curious.
No, I died to Ellie a lot. Ellie fucking fucked my shit.
No,
I got to the third part with Ellie where she starts laying traps. And
Yeah.
then I finally figured out. I was like, fuck it, and then you throw like a bottle at it, and it disorients her.
And then you go beat her ass.
Yeah.
Then you beat her ass.
Yeah.
And then Dina comes
I
in to
felt
save.
bad the whole time. Like, fuck, I don't want to kill.
Yeah,
Ellie.
I didn't. I was like, man, I really don't want to be the one that kills Ellie.
But I didn't want
Abby
want
to
her-
add.
I didn't want Abby to die either. So I'm like, what the fuck is gonna happen?
And then probably the
And then this part is another big controversy with a lot of the gamers.
which
It's kind of fucking stupid.
what
I
was the
get it.
controversy?
So a lot of people were mad that all of the sudden Lev convinces Abby not to kill Ellie.
But Lev didn't say anything. Abby knew it was wrong.
Lev said Abby don't.
And she didn't say that. Or he, sorry.
Yes, he
Lev,
did.
I thought I've watched it. Lev just says Abby.
Okay, maybe he doesn't say don't.
But like
But
you know
he-
what I mean? Like it's just drawing attention. Like Lev's watching you.
Le-
What are you setting as an example? right now?
Lev definitely stopped it.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
think that's totally reasonable. It's so like she sees that like Lev it's creating another cycle. I can see Abby seeing Lev in that moment and being like I know I'm going too far. Like the whole time like I know I'm going too far, but fuck it, fuck these people. And then you see Lev and you're like
Well, yeah, because to Abby, Lev was the whole reason. Like she started to correct herself. Like she started to want to be a better person.
and she didn't want Lev to see her as this complete fucking killing machine.
Yeah, and that's why that one bitch was yelling at her and like really bringing her down. Is like, I know who you are and what you do.
You're a fucking monster.
Yeah, and she's like trying to change. Yeah, she called her a monster.
Yeah, because Lev imagine in that moment Lev's been there for a minute and you know that Lev heard the whole she's pregnant and Abby going, good.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, this is fucking hardcore. And then in an interview, I saw that Laura Bailey, when she was filming that, was pregnant. And they asked her, like, how'd that make you feel? She's like, I don't want to talk about it. I was like, fuck.
Wait, who was Laura Bailey?
She's Abby. Girl that plays Abby.
Shit.
When she was filming that scene where she's like, good, like she was pregnant in that moment.
Well, that's wild.
That is wild, isn't it? But she didn't want to talk about it more beyond that. But I thought it was like,
sucks. Damn it. I want to know what she thought.
you need to watch those interviews.
I
I'll send them
need
to
to
you.
some interviews.
They're good. But so then they break off. And then I thought this was going to be pretty much the end of the game.
Yeah, me too.
But it doesn't. It has a whole nother third act.
The epilogue, the 0.5, the 2.
It's just as long as like at least it's a good
A
chunk
couple
of the
days.
game. It just seems fast because
It's like another 5 hours.
a lot happens in
5 or
it.
6 hours.
So do you want to just kind of blow through this?
I never finished the game. I lied to you guys.
You mean
Shut the fuck up.
So I thought the game was going to end here. Let's just kind of get
So
through
at some point in the story, Abby learns that the Fireflies could possibly still be
That's where they're going, yeah. Because of
in
Owen.
California.
That's where Owen wanted to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Abby and Lev go to California. Ellie finds out from Tommy that a woman that was built like an axe has shown up in has shown up in various places in California. So Ellie has this inner turmoil. Should she go? Should she stay? Because
And
she
Dina has
started
a
this
baby.
life with Dina. Dina has a baby, JJ.
Which they're
Ellie's
really
taken
the
on
mother.
this parental role.
Yeah. You get that whole flashback
So yeah,
moment,
she has a good life now, but
that PTSD episode.
Tommy comes back.
Yeah.
Tommy's fucked up because he
survived
somehow
somehow.
survives.
Yeah.
Lost his fucking eye, I guess.
He got shot in the fucking face with an arrow.
Well, with that, no, he got
He
shot,
shot
in
him
the
with a
head.
gun.
Yeah, he got shot. in
Oh,
the-
was the gun?
Yeah,
I thought
she
Lev
blasted
got
him.
Well,
and it got him, I guess,
The
right
reason
here.
why I knew he lived was because they didn't show his death.
True. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
I mean, they showed the gun being shot at him
But then they just
near
left
the
it.
head.
We need to talk about the PTSD part.
Yeah, where
'Cause
she
that
says she goes in
really
the barn.
shook me up.
Is that what got you the most?
Yeah.
Ellie has like a PTSD moment where she's
That
going
was
down to
really-
the basement like at the beginning, but she can't open the
Really
door.
Fucking sad.
Yeah, and she couldn't. So Ellie at this point too, like you noticed and I noticed. Did you notice that she looked really skinny?
Yeah, she looks sick.
She emaciated.
I kept saying that. Like, she looks sick.
She couldn't eat.
Yeah.
She ultimately had unfinished business. Like Tommy told her all that, but I feel like she wanted to do it at the same time.
Well, yeah, I mean, she couldn't move on.
It wasn't that Tommy put all this guilt on her. It's like she was a pin drop away from probably doing that herself.
Yeah.
She just now has the info. Tommy could have said, like, I have this info. You don't need to go after her. But now that she has that info, it wouldn't have mattered what anyone said. I feel like she would have went.
Yeah. Yeah, the way they did that scene really stuck with me. Like,
It's intense.
made it really depressing.
So, real quick, Abby found this house that had all this Firefly shit with all these posts, and she calls and she finds someone there. But as she's leaving to get out because she's on her way to go find that place, they get jumped and captured.
By Logic and this other fat guy.
Yeah, did you know that was Logic?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Snapchatting right now?
Did
What the
you know
fuck
that-
are you here?
Did you know that was Logic?
Ed.
The skinny guy?
That was with the big guy.
You know where she gets stabbed and when she falls down, the skinny guy comes by and Ellie's like, what a little bitch, because he gets scared by a clicker? That's Logic.
Oh,
You know who
Yeah.
Logic is?
yes, I know who
Okay.
Logic is, but I don't.
Whatever, they get captured
Forgive
by
me,
them.
I don't remember the specific scene.
Ellie then catches up and she also gets captured. Same people.
Yes.
But she
Ellie
point-
fucking kills
Well,
them.
at this
Yeah.
point, I just kind of want to be. I wanted to be done with the game.
Yeah, me too.
I was
ready.
like, this is going on a little long. But so you get through this section, you find these people that like capture, like they have a concentration camp pretty much,
Yeah.
and they purposely infect people who go against them. I've noticed,
Yeah.
which is fucked. I was like, this is a whole nother thing that could have been its own fucking game.
Yeah.
How fucked this is.
Yeah.
I was like, it's cool though, but like we're playing through it, and then you fuck their whole thing up. Like they're not a thing anymore. Ellie literally ruins that whole
How
society.
many times did you die during this part?
A lot.
Didn't die once.
I died a lot. This was hard. But
It was.
I
very
barely
hard.
died in this game. I don't.
what'd you play?
I almost died. I ran out.
I played it on hard.
Oh, I played normal.
Did you play moderate or hard?
I think I played moderate.
Fucking grounded. I didn't die once. Permadeath, bitch.
Shut the fuck up.
Anyways,
Moderate all day.
so you
No
find
death
this like
all day.
place where
All
they're
day.
hanging people up, and because you're told that's where Abby is because she left and tried to run away. So her and Lev are hung up, and you can't find Abby. It didn't take me too long because eventually the little circle thing gave away where she was. But then she's emaciated. Doesn't even look like Abby, really. Shaved head, everything.
Her mannerisms, like during that final fight.
She looked like straight up Gollum.
She looked like Gollum.
You don't even know what Gollum looks like. You didn't finish the movies.
Those movies are bad. So you then cut her down, and she cuts Lev down, and then she takes Lev to a boat. She tells, because she knows Ellie. She knows who Ellie is. She's like, boats are this way. So then you get to the boats, and you assume, like, okay, we're just going to leave. Like,
There's
Ellie's gone
two
through some
boats.
shit in this time, and nope. They play a little image of Joel with his bashed-in head, and you're like, oh, no. Ellie came here with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget why we came here,
She
boys.
ain't getting away that easy.
She doesn't. They
Ellie's like, fuck no.
They both
We're
get
doing
it fucked up in this thing. Like, she gets cut everywhere. Abby does. And then Ellie loses 2 fucking fingers.
Yeah. She bites him off.
And Abby didn't want to fight. Made that known. Like, Abby didn't want this fight.
And before the last time that they met, Abby was like, I better never fucking see you again.
Yeah.
Or else she'll finish the job.
But she
Ellie-
didn't want to fight this time. I mean, because Ellie saves their life.
Yeah.
You know, during this part, I kind of understood one of the gripes is
What?
that a lot of people said the voice actress that played Abby didn't really fit the character. So I
don't
noticed a
think
lot
so.
of times when
I-
you hit Abby or Abby got hit, she had like a really girly scream. And I guess that kind of doesn't fit because you expect her to have like...
You don't like Trunks?
I like Trunks.
She's Trunks.
I know, but like she kind of screams like a little girl when she got hit.
But she's
That's
a woman.
so odd.
I
That's
know.
such a weird
It's not
complaint.
like she's on roids.
I know, but you don't... I guess you don't expect that when you see such a big character like that. You expect like the big Bertha bitch that you fight a couple times.
What do you expect? Like,
or like not like that. Yeah, the Mario guy.
I've been hit.
That's a weird complaint. That's an odd one.
That was like a lot of people complain about that though.
Anyways, she gets
Okay.
choked out. And Ellie
Holds
eventually...
her fucking head under the water.
Yeah, like drowning her, really. Like, she won the fight, but
oh yeah.
she doesn't kill her. She sees
Yeah, that's
one
her guy.
little flash of Joel on his guitar. I don't know what it was about it, or if it was just a thing of, like, she was done. She lets Abby go.
Yeah.
And then Abby does. Abby goes. They don't... Ellie just says, just take him. Abby goes away. She doesn't say anything to Ellie. They go their separate ways. And then you get... This is where the flashback happens of the dinner. Or the dance. The dance flashback, I'm pretty sure, happens in this moment. And you see what happened
Which
that
is
night.
the first trailer of the game.
Yeah, yeah. This is weird because in the whole context of the game, I remember seeing that trailer and I thought it was cool and all, but this is the first time Ellie has talked to Joel since that day at the hospital.
Yep, where she
First
found
time.
out.
And what a cool scene, I guess, but it's
Joel
so
comes
weird.
in to protect her.
It's not what you thought that scene was, definitely.
Well,
There's
yeah,
so much...
because it stops after they kiss.
Yeah,
But there's a whole nother part that plays into the story after that.
but you hear about Joel like, oh, your old man's giving me problems on patrol. But like at the same time, Ellie hasn't talked to Joel this whole time. Like
Yeah.
nobody knows what's went down between.
I didn't watch any of the trailers.
So there's only like 3. There's this.
Most of the trailers play in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured so, but like,
This was one of the trailers. The other one was Abby being hung up. And the last one
Time to
was the
clip her
Nora.
wings.
Yeah.
so with this last, part of the game, Well, we should probably finish.
Let's just finish it out.
let's
So,
finish it out because
Ellie and Dina are dancing. They kiss, just like you've seen in the trailer. And then all of a sudden, this big homophobic dude was like, "This is a family event."
Yeah.
I was like, "Man, fuck this guy." Everything is
No
about.
dykes allowed.
Yeah, he says that. He's
Yeah.
like, "That's what this town needs, another loudmouth dyke."
Yeah.
And then Ellie's about to fuck this guy up. Because in my mind, I'm like, man, this guy has no idea. This little girl fucking
Yeah.
killed so many people. He's about to be dead. And then Joel pushes him. And I'm like, oh,
Joel's gonna fuck him up.
yeah, Joel's going to fuck him up. This guy has no idea. Like, he doesn't know what he walked into. And then they break it up. And then, yeah, Ellie and Joel have this fight that's so heartbreaking to watch. I'm like, man. At this point in the game, I was like, fuck. That's the last thing she said to Joel.
Yeah.
But then, no. She goes back to the house. Again, they flash forward again. She goes back to the house. She can't play the guitar. Dina fucking left. Because Dina warned her. She's like, if you go after this shit, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And she did. That's where I thought Ellie went too far. I was like,
The part where she couldn't play the guitar almost got me.
yeah, where
Yeah.
her fingers were
That
cut.
was, God damn, this game is so
Well,
sad.
when I saw her pick up the guitar, I'm like, how is she gonna
then
play
they-
the guitar?
They make you play it.
Yeah,
They
I'm
make
like,
you try to play it, and it
Yeah.
sounds
You can't.
so broken.
yeah, I'm like,
It's like,
how?
fuck this game, man.
But then you get the flashback, the coffee flashback you're talking about. Where he
What was
traded
he
some-
so embarrassed that he traded for that coffee?
I bet some
gotta know.
guns and ammo and a bunch of shit that's like really necessary. Like
I think he
food.
showed his asshole or something.
But you get this kind of like sweet moment
Yeah, this.
that it was. It's
It's
tough.
the day before he goes on the patrol.
Yeah, like they were
day
planning on
before.
doing the movie night after this.
Yep.
Like, that's why I'm saying like you really should replay this game. It adds so much more weight.
I
To,
want
at
to.
least that beginning part.
Yeah.
So much more weight to it.
gonna take you another 3
It's probably gonna take me half a year.
Yeah,
It's gonna take you half a year to beat it again.
I will definitely be playing again though.
but you get that moment where they're talking and she's like, I don't know if I can ever forgive you, but I'd like to try.
Yeah.
And Joel's like,
I would
I'd like that. And that's not the game. Then flashes forward. Ellie puts the guitar down, walks out, credits. One last question. Where do you think she goes?
Home.
Do you think she goes back to Jackson, or do you
Yeah.
think she goes her own way?
Oh, you're talking about like real time?
I think
she
she
goes
goes
her
back-
own way
Really?
for sure.
I think she goes back to Jackson
Why would she?
I think
because she pretty much had started a family.
Dina left.
I know, but
I don't think Dina went back to Jackson.
Dina did. I think
Yeah,
because her
for
family
sure.
was there.
I don't know. I feel like the revenge story. This is obviously a revenge story, but Ellie lost literally everything. In
She
this
really
game. Everything.
She left the guitar behind too.
Yes, she
My-
lost Joel. She lost the song that Joel taught her. Everything she
The
had
knife.
is gone.
Her mom's knife she lost.
Yeah, she lost Dina. She lost JJ. She lost all of her friends.
The only thing she had from Dina was the wristband.
Yeah.
She had Joel's pistol, but
Yeah,
I don't know if I think she wears his watch too. His broken
yes,
one.
she has his watch. I don't know if she had his jacket.
my question is, do you think there's going to be a part 3?
Absolutely.
I bet that's the biggest PS5 game that whole generation
Part
is gonna
3
It's gonna be at the end again.
or part 3
Yeah,
or a
okay.
sequel
have.
to The Last of Us?
What do you mean?
You mean a prequel?
Yeah.
A prequel to the first game?
No, I bet
Yeah.
it's a sequel. I bet it picks up
It's gotta be
Abby's
a
story.
sequel.
I bet Ellie's is done though.
I bet Ellie
And
and
why'd you mention a prequel?
I bet Ellie and Abby are gonna meet up.
Why'd you ask? Why'd you?
Because
Oh,
you
you
said sequel, but
Yeah, I did
like,
say
You said sequel.
did you say it's gonna be part 3 or a sequel?
Yeah,
and we were
like a
both like,
sequel
"What the
to-
fuck?"
No, like a sequel to The Last of Us because this is a Last of Us Part 1 and 2.
Oh, do you think like
Like
this
a-
will be Last
So you
of
mean
Us
like a
2?
Like
whole
a whole,
separate
like a
thing.
whole another game, but
That's
like
not a sequel then.
I mean, it could. I can see how that would work, but
That's
so
what people wanted this game to be.
well. So to me, a Last of Us 2 would mean separate people, and it follows no one from this game.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that to
that's-
me would be what like 2
A
would
Last
be.
of Us 2. Okay.
yeah,
As to where a part 3 would be like they're following either Ellie or
they could do that and then backtrack to a Part 3.
I honestly would prefer a part 3.
rather
Who would you
than,
follow, though?
I think the show was going to be The Last of Us 2.
No, the show follows like Joel and Ellie. It's a recreation of the game.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's gonna be
That's kind of
so
weird.
good. That's gonna be. So
I hope
good.
it's good.
I'd rather do like what they did with The Walking Dead.
where it's like a side story.
Yeah,
They're by the way, they're finally ending that shit.
I know. Season
Oh
11.
my god.
So, what did you think this game? How do you think it compares to the first one?
I think it's something
Longer.
completely different.
Longer. Yeah,
It's
it is
longer. It's more intense. It's more sad and depressing.
Yeah, more heartfelt and.
And honestly, I didn't mind that Joel wasn't in it or wasn't so prominent in the game. I would have liked maybe like a fourth of the game to be some classic Joel and Ellie shit.
Yeah.
But I get what they're doing, and ultimately it's Neil Druckmann's story, so like anything he writes should be his.
I feel like you got that classic Joel and Ellie shit through Abby.
Yeah. And,
The
yeah, I touched
combat,
on
I would say, was
So much better.
yeah, and
phenomenal.
that's an argument I don't get. Is like people say it's not like the first game, but when it comes to the story, people are that same argument. It's kind of like a hypocrisy of what they're arguing. It's like they wanted more Joel and Ellie, which would have been more of the first game, and then when it gets to combat, they're like, "Well, it's the same," when it's not.
It's not. It's way different.
And their arguments are flip flop. It's like, what do you want? Do you want a new game, or do you want the first game again?
It's crazy. I feel like if these games, graphically, whatever, like, that's separate, but story-wise, if these games happened in reverse, I think people would love this game and hate one for the same reasons. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted more Abby, and I got this fucking Joel guy that I don't know about. Like,
This game was so
If-
politically
divisive.
attacked online before its release.
But it sold the best out of any PS4 game, and it's
It's
the highest
done well,
reviewed.
but there was so much controversy around this game before it even came out.
Yeah, but I feel like, again, because the spoilers, again, was Joel dying. And when you hate the game, I feel like a lot of it is like you see that spoiler and you can't let that go when you play this game. Like, you already know who Abby is. So when you're playing as Abby, you already have this resentment because you know what she's about to do. So you get no growth in the beginning. Again, a lot of people who don't like it haven't played it. So that whole shit of like fighting the Rat King, yeah, it looks scary to see, but you're not playing it. There's no real fear there because whatever Let's Play you're watching, they're not going to show you death scenes, really. There's a whole element of people who don't play the game, saw Joel died, and I feel like just could not let that go. You miss out on so much, I feel, when you're that way.
My last note.
It's so close-minded too. It's like, why not
Closing notes.
take in the story?
Closing notes.
Yeah, go
what you
ahead,
got?
Avery.
Okay. My last note on this game was playing as Ellie, playing as Abby really put me in a position I'd never thought I'd ever be in. Like it made me really think about how strong women can be and how strong women are. And it really made me respect women more. About like what they're capable of, and like when I was walking into this game, I was thinking, oh, I'm playing as a woman, and which is very sexist.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people felt that way, and
yeah, I'm sure, but
a lot of people were mad about that.
I was playing as shortly after playing as Ellie, I'm like, damn, this is awesome. Like, I didn't care. I really didn't care. I wanted to play as Abby. I wanted to play as Ellie. I didn't care if I played as Joel again. I didn't care if I played as Tommy. I didn't care about anything besides playing as those two characters. And, I'm sure that's what they were aiming for in this game. And I'm glad they achieved it, at least with most of the players.
Very strong female leads, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for me, I don't really notice that until I guess it's presented as that people actually don't like playing as women. Like the whole
Which is
it being a
stupid.
woman
That's-
or man
that's so
did not
stupid.
affect me in any way. But and then going back and seeing like people who were upset just because they had to play as a girl was like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
what are
that's
you talking
weird, yeah.
about? It does not have to be a man to be a good game.
No, and I mean, at first I wasn't like truly upset about playing as a woman in the game. I was just like, well,
Well, yeah, I mean, that point,
it kind of sucks, but
this game really did bring that to life, though. It's like,
yeah,
you know, people like me who aren't affected by that don't notice that that is actually a problem
yeah.
with the
I did
whole
notice that too.
Gamergate thing.
Well, that and like that Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game, the Odyssey one, it was originally supposed to have just a female lead, but they thought it wouldn't sell well.
And then they made you choose.
Yeah, so then they gave a second gender and
Which is
modified
fucked
the
up.
game.
Just write your fucking story.
But like this game proves you can have a female lead if you write.
Two
Like if you've got a
female
good
leads.
game,
But I will say,
It will
knowing
sell like
Assassin's
hot.
Creed, you know, the game, those games sucks. They
Yeah,
suck
those
as
games-
it is. Like, it probably wouldn't have sold well.
Yeah, but the grand scheme of things is like, don't fucking bow down to these assholes.
Yeah.
can we all agree though that the PS4 probably has the best lineup of games ever? God of War, Red Dead 2, which by the way I do like now. I'm playing
Oh,
more.
really?
Yeah, but anyways, Uncharted
Really?
and
Story
Last
for
of Us.
another time. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think arguably PlayStation 2 was the king of the games.
But anyways,
But,
I really like this game.
Yeah, it's a great game. 10 out of 10, hands down. Like, fucking, if you don't want to play this game or had reservations about playing it because of other people's opinions, play it yourself, have your own opinion, play the
Maybe you
fucking
hate
game. It is so good.
Took
Maybe you
Alec
hate it.
3 months and
me
a
3
full
months.
bottle of anxiety medication to get through this whole game.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
I don't know how. I didn't mute any words. Nothing. I was on Twitter
risking
every
it.
day.
I was like, don't go on Twitter. You're gonna see art because I thought you were gonna see art of Lev or something and be like, who the fuck?
Oh, man.
All right.
All right,
End of
well,
episode.
Guys, it was great to get
Pizza
back
time.
in the saddle for beef stew.
Yeah.
We got some fucking voice effects. You want to play some voice effects real quick?
No.
You want some voice effects? I got T-Pain. And we got a cave. I'm in a cave right now.
Can we be done?
And a cathedral. Do you want to do the Halo song?
And I'm never coming back.
We've been here for 2 hours, sitting
Okay.
in these seats.
All right, well. Let me play the outro. Oh, okay. Bye, guys.